find
If you want to
out.
clear your manhunt, reach the coordinates I'm sending you.
Damn, bro. Find out. You can be ready with 100 stacks, no soul copper, bro.
Gone. Is that green for you too? Let the bodies hit the float. Let the bodies hit the float.
I'm sending you a location. Reach it in your manhunt.
Tiger the kit, Tiger. One down in the back, I need a kit. Something. Oh, get him.
We're down. Yeah, we did it.
Damn, cuz. Man, that's a whole ass blue y'all just hit. Right up.
Oh my god.
Need a Betty?
Oh wait, what? Yeah, you by yourself. Slow it down. Another one down. Nah, back up. Pick him up, cat.
That's one minute. Oh my god, another shot.
Ooh, y'all keep moving. Y'all leading. Look at this bum ass. Here we come. Oh, I'm with you. Go. Come on, Jay. Come on, Jay. Come on. Oh, I got a nade on y'all.
Keep cooking, bro.
Got to heal on foot. Unless you're on foot.
Pick it up. He's down.
I got to heal.
See that?
Getting him off you, Jay. I'm trying to get him off you, bro.
Yo, they're not doing this.
Another nomad lion? Look.
If you want to clear your manhunt, reach the coordinates I'm sending you.
They fall outside. Throw nades on
Oh, they
there.
popped
Throw
up
nades. I
back
got
lane,
this.
yo.
Jay behind you too. Jay, move. Two behind you. Move.
God, I got the hit. No. Left, block. What are we doing?
Get inside.
No, push the extraction. Extraction. Push the extraction.
I'm about to get cut. Alright, y'all take too long. Green. Y'all gotta make up your mind, bro. I'm getting cut. Quick. Yo, bro, y'all
Blue
gotta
tack.
y'all gotta make up your mind faster, bro. Y'all gotta make up your mind faster. I'm just over here sitting waiting for y'all to make up your mind. We're all chasing me with that car, bro. We're good. Stay alive. Mira up with them. Mira the base.
Dead eye.
Dead
I don't know where.
Where? Oh, he's lower in the back. I see him. With the beam and shit. Watch this.
Oh my god.
Okay, I need corpses.
Ow. Going there.
There's two corpses.
Another one.
Oh my god.
Another one.
I'm dead, man.
Another one.
3 people that came up behind them.
We'll get smoked. That's true. Oh my god.
What is this dude? 6-piece Banshee?
Probably. Put that nade away, bro. This dude holding the fuck out of you.
Hell yeah, he was. Is he wearing?
What's up, you guys? Gourmet J here, bringing you this 1.8.3 striker build video. I am creating this, or making this build video, simply because I have been getting so many requests in my comments and such from people asking, you know, how do I run my striker 1.8.3, or how did I run it when I used to play constantly. So let's get straight into the build. Of course, 6-piece striker. I'm running 5300 firearms, 7800 stamina, with a showstopper and the M4. So starting off with the weapons, first and foremost, with this showstopper, predatory and self-preserved are absolutely fantastic for this. So the reason why I have these two talents are because, predatory, of course, when you get the kill, you get the 35% health regen over 20 seconds, and then the self-preserved. So I have a crit chance sight on here, so that I have 7.50 extra crit chance. Let me go ahead and equip it so I can see exactly how much crit chance I have on here. I have 26% crit chance. So in this clip, I'm actually displaying how the showstopper with self-preserved and predatory works, and then with canned food, a pulse, and a possible defib if you have a healer on your team as well. So with the showstopper, and why I actually like to use it, and not just getting stacks, I actually like the healing aspect. So whenever I pop canned food, I have predatory, and I'm at 100 stacks, I'm healing faster than a 9k stam striker would with less than 9k stam. So one of the greatest things is, you know, depending on your crit chance and how hard you're hitting, that's how much crit you're going to get as far as your heals. It's not going to be anything major, but it definitely helps, especially when you face tank a nomad or a pred, and you're definitely trying to get your stacks up. So whenever you have a chance, you have the opportunity, and you're in a fight, I would definitely pop canned food, get your predatory, and make sure you have that pulse so that you can stack up with your heals. And this is why a lot of people think I have all these extra heals, or why I'm cheating or some crap like that. All of these extra heals while you're fighting a server comes in clutch. This does not work against D3 shields though, only against actual players. And then as well as for my M4, I have Deadly, Unforgiving, and Competent. I have Competent for the range, so I have that 10% at any, I can shoot, I get that 10% extra weapon damage at any range. As far as the actual build, actual gear set, 11% EDR, max health, max ammo capacity. And then as far as my mods, I have stamina crit chance mods on here. On my mask, this is crit chance as well, with disorient resistance, stamina crit chance mod. On my knee pads, I have crit damage on here with bleed, disrupt, and damage to elites. The god rule, I would say, for the minor attributes would be bleed, disrupt, and shock resistance. And then as well for the mod on here, I have stamina crit chance on here, and I have a pulse crit hit chance mod on here. On my holster, I have crit chance on here with another pulse mod, pulse crit hit chance as well. On my gloves, these are rolled for assault rifle damage with crit damage, crit chance, rolled for firearms. And then on my backpack, I have crit damage with ammo capacity, rolled for firearms. I have 2 pulse mods on here, one for crit damage, the other for crit chance, and then I have a stamina mod on here with 1% crit chance. As far as my attributes, I have, actually, let's see, how much crit chance do I have on this M4? 27% crit chance on mine for 131% crit damage, 39% enemy armor damage, of course with the AR and the striker gear set combined, which is really good. And I do not have any skill haste on here. There's one more thing that I wanted to show you guys. 33% bleed resistance, and I think it was just the extra bleed resistance. I wanted to get bleed resistance on my backpack, but I noticed, especially if you have under 6,000 firearms, you're going to need the extra ammo capacity. So if you're running 70k firearms and above, then you'll be pretty good as far as ammo capacity, because you're doing enough damage. You don't have to keep shooting to drop somebody, especially in with the time to kill right now. So yeah, I would definitely go with the ammo capacity. And as far as the skills that I'm using the box and the pulse. The pulse mods bring my pulse up to 13.30% and a 9% crit chance, and then 9.30% crit damage on my box. Of course, it's just a regular box, immune box. And as far as the talents that I run adrenaline, crit save, strike back, and on the move. Sometimes I will change it to precision if I'm fighting maybe one or two people. I'll actually put precision on, because I'm not getting my I'll see that I'm not getting my strike back enough for me to the 20% skill cooldown. If I was fighting multiple people, then I would definitely just keep on the move. But if I'm fighting like one person at a time, then I'd probably do precision, because the pulse cooldown is 51 seconds. So the pulse lasts for 20 seconds. So I'm waiting 30 seconds for a pulse. So if I get strike back, constantly, of course, with Striker, which is really, really good with Striker because of the health regen. I believe the cooldowns can go down to around like 30 seconds or so. So the skill haste is actually pretty good as far as Striker goes, and strike back. But like I was saying, I would definitely go with, if I'm fighting one person at a time, I definitely go with precision. If I'm fighting multiple people, then we're gonna go with on the move. But that is the build, you guys. I appreciate you guys coming through. This is the main build that I use in 1.8.3. Sometimes I will use a 9K build, and this is my super tank build with 4,600 almost 50 toughness. I just need to optimize a couple more things and change my mods to bring it up to 650k toughness. And it's basically the same exact thing, same weapons. Only difference is I have health on my knee pads and on my backpack. And of course, you're definitely going to need ammo capacity for this build right here, because you burn through ammo like crazy, because you're doing around 26 to 28k crits with this build. So that's actually still pretty damn good. And that's just with the pulse. If you had a booster, it'd be up to level around like 30 or so. But with the other build, with my 53k firearms, this can go up to around 35k crits, somewhere around 35k crits. So that's those are the two builds that I mostly use in 1.8.3. You guys, appreciate you guys coming through. A lot of people are not playing 1.8.3 as much, but for those who are still playing and enjoying it, good for you guys. As of right now, I'm mostly on Call of Duty, and I will be playing Red Dead Redemption. But every so often, like I told you guys, I will be playing Division, and I will be streaming for you guys every so often. All right, you guys. Catch you later. Peace. Much love. All right, so in this clip, I'm actually going to dissect what's going on in the server battle and explain exactly how I managed to keep stacks as a striker. So one of the main things I will say off the top of my head is you cannot spray and pray. You have to be very disciplined with your trigger finger and understand that every shot isn't going to land, but having the mindset of anticipating where your opponent is going and how much is in your clip and how much is in both guns. Those two are big factors, because you have to pay attention to your stacks, obviously. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off here. So I know that my teammate is, of course, being overwhelmed. So right here, I'm actually spraying because I want to scare my opponent. So one of the biggest things, another big thing is you cannot be afraid to shoot your gun, because a lot of people know, with the striker, it's hard to maintain your stacks. So right here, I know there's a lot of people. Right now, I'm just spraying to keep them off of my teammate, and I'm using the showstopper right now to just get as many stacks and as many heals as I can get, especially in a dire moment like this. So with this, I know I need to get predatory, I need to reset it, so I'm trying to go after this PC, but my opponent shoots it, so obviously they're pretty smart. They could tell what I was trying to do. So we're obviously getting overwhelmed, so we need to push back. You cannot be afraid to well, I should say you need to be smart with what you're doing. So I know I need to drop this first guy fairly quickly, so that's when I'm going to bring out my AR, and I'm actually going to rely on my Unforgiving, because I know there's going to be so many people focusing on me. I'm going to rely on my Unforgiving to focus on the first guy. With the strike back and my heal going down to my last segment, quite frequently with the striker stacks, with predatory, and with the green, I know I can get my skills back pretty fast. I pull out my showstopper with the second guy because I need to reset my predatory. So I'm able to drop him, and I know I need to get this PC and keep my stacks. So I need to keep backing up. I have to keep backing up because I know I'm going to get overwhelmed, and I want to whip out my M4. So once you get distance and you have stacks, that's when you want to use a stability with the striker. And ARs are very dominant with striker. Houses are okay, but the spread is too wide, and you need to be close to benefit. And the thing is, when you're fighting servers like this, you know, even if you're being focused, you want to create as much space as you can. So I'm whipping out my M4. I'm going to try to use my distance, and I want to pick off the first person who I see isn't with the rest of the server. So I'm picking off this guy to the right. I clip him real quick. I pay attention to his build. I know he has an alpha bridge. He doesn't have nomad, so I can easily clip him. So there's another guy that has a disrupt, and he's my biggest threat because he's actually preventing the heals. One thing I will say, as far as the disrupts and being a striker, you cannot fear the guy who has the disrupt. You have to play smart against him. You have to know you're not going to do as much damage against that guy, but you know you have to keep shooting to get that guy down. If you're solo, you always want to go after the guy that has the disrupt, that's disrupting you the most. If you can, you know, if you're fighting a D3, you definitely want to keep that D3 on your side. You don't want to kill him instantly. You want to keep his shield there. You have your showstopper if you're using a showstopper. I would suggest in this update that you use a showstopper because of how overwhelming the server fights can become. There's so many people running high firearms, and I see people complaining, oh, you're using a showstopper when you wouldn't use it before, and blah 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 blah, it was a nerf. The things are entirely different now with this update. The amount of firearms people are running with, and the pulses and heals, you just simply don't have enough time to stack up with an AR or SMG with one stack at a time. You just don't have time. And I'm using the showstopper to my benefit as far as doing damage, and to as far as the heals. The main reason I use a showstopper is actually for the heals. I actually don't need it for the stacks, but it is very, very beneficial, and I actually rather use it to manage fighting a server that has such high firearms. Like I said, you just don't have time to keep your stacks up. You're wasting your med kits, you're wasting your heals and your time, and by the time you're trying to get all your stacks up, you're overwhelmed with six, seven other people shooting you. And honestly, you're not going to be able to manage fighting 6-7 people shooting you with high 10k firearms and a pulse at the same time. It's just not gonna happen. So I proceed to knock off this guy, and I keep shooting the second guy because I felt like I had the confidence to keep shooting the confidence to keep my stacks up and melt the second guy as well. But as soon as I notice that my shots aren't landing, that he's a nomad, and I have other people to my left, and also he put a shock turret down, I need to draw back. I need to play smart and understand I'm not gonna keep my stacks. I'm wasting my stacks. I'm gonna end up wasting a med kit, and I'm gonna get shocked, and I'm most likely gonna die. So I need to play smart, pull back, try to go for the guy that's on the ground, but I'm trying to go around, but I get disrupted in this fire. So I realize there's too much going on. I need to pull back. You cannot be afraid to pull back. You gotta rush in at the right time, pull back at the right time. So there's a PC here. Both a PC and you have a showstopper. With this build right here, I suggest you always try to keep one PC in the area so that you keep your stacks. And I noticed this guy was the disruptor, so I instantly went for him. So I'm trying to pick off all the guys who have all the high firearms and aren't nomad. So if I can pick those guys off, instantly, that's less to worry about. And I try to pay attention to the keep the nomads to the side, keep them in my peripheral so that I can keep my stacks off of them. So like I said, knock off all of the guys who have all the high firearms and do not have a nomad first. If you can, proc a nomad, then that'll be great, and keep your stacks off of them. Obviously, there are a lot of nomads in the DZ, so it's it can become overwhelming. It's just you have to analyze the situation. You need to analyze those situations. So, quick tips and an overview. You cannot be afraid to shoot your gun. You just have to be disciplined as far as who you're going to shoot, when you're going to shoot. You need to analyze the situation. If you're fighting one person, chances are you're not going to keep all your stacks all the time because they're just going to strafe, they're going to run around, they understand your striker, you're not going to land every single one of your shots. But if you're fighting multiple people, there's always going to be that one guy that likes running around and shooting you in the back. That guy you want to keep on the side. Make them think that that you're not paying attention to him. So what I like to do is whenever I'm fighting multiple people at once, I kind of let one of the guys come behind me. I strafe around, and then I turn around and I pull out my showstopper. And while he's face tanking, he's caught by surprise. He's gonna keep shooting, thinking the other other three are behind, just shooting me while I'm getting my stacks. And I have 550 toughness, or whether it's my the other super tank build, 650 toughness. I have enough toughness to tank them to get to around 50 stacks, hit a med kit, and move. So you don't want to keep face tanking until you're, just because you want all of your stacks. You have to build it up over time. So here's part one of the advice, some of the tips that I can give you. I'm actually going to upload a part two because this video is so long, and the part two is actually going to be a bit more advanced strats for you guys to understand and try to use with Striker. All right, you guys. Appreciate you guys coming through. Peace.